Disclaimer. While I may be roasting this character, I do not hate them. This video is for two main purposes. One is for fun and for laughs. I will also be using satirical commentary. A lot of people don't understand that I'm never actually angry in any of my videos. I exaggerate for comedic purposes. Seriously, chill. Second is to show you this character's flaws. A lot of people portray these characters, especially if they're favorites, as irreverent babies and can do no wrong. Think of this as a comedic character analysis. I'm also going off of comic events, not historical. I'm not talking about what the country has done. I'm focusing on what the character has done themselves. Hello, my fellow Hetalians. Coco here, and man, is it good to be back. I've been through quite a bit, let's just say. Anyways, since I'm going to come back, I might as well come back with a bang. Coming back with a Hetalia video that hopefully won't get me copyrighted. And it's one of your favorites, a succulent, delicious roast. Yes, I know you all love roast more than my dog drools over Chinese food. Today, we're going to be doing a fan favorite, and one of my own favorites, the incestuous ice queen herself, Belarus. Now, there are some obvious controversial flaws with this character, and of course I'm going to be going over those too, but there are a few that none seem to see. And even in the obvious ones, not many really know just how bad it actually is. Seriously, this roast may ruin this character for you, so be warned. Simps, prepare to have your waifu ruined for you, because underneath this Snow Queen are some hot and spicy secrets. Now, let's turn this Belarus into Chorna Rus. 'Tis a Russian joke. First, the design. Okay, this is unrealistic hair expectations. Do you know how hard it is and how annoying it is to have a hair bow like that? Hair bows do not stay in your hair like that unless you have a very strong hair clip attached to it. And even then, they do not look nearly as good, especially if you have fine hair like mine. That sucker is attached to a giant clip with teeth. Sorry, just bitter about my hair and its texture. To be honest, even though she would look more plain, I think she would look better without the bow. I mean, I think it suits her for her age. I don't think a bow really suits someone who's supposed to be physically 19. I mean, just look at her here. Look how awesome she looks, but that's just my opinion. Also, for the blue dress, I mean, didn't Russia make her that, like, when they were kids, and she's still wearing it? Like, that thing must be in rags by now. And she's still wearing it because she's so obsessed with him. Hopefully she washes it. Number 1, jealous bitch. Hetalia's Belarus isn't really a good person. She broke a man's fingers for asking her on a date. Granted, that man was a simp, but still, it was a simp who, guess what, was close to her brother. She gets jealous of her sister for spending too much time with her brother. The Italy brothers, when they had a meeting that their bosses set up. China, because Russia was stalking him. So I guess that's China's fault now, apparently. She jumped into Japan's clothes while he was still wearing them because she was jealous of the affection Russia was showing Japan. She is an incredibly jealous person. And possessive and jealous people are not people you want to be around. She gets mad when her brother just talks to people. She told her own sister to burn in an oven because she was being nice to her own brother. Possessive and jealous people aren't good for your health. Trust me, I would know. Number 2, curses in almost every sentence. This is a fact that a lot of people forget about Hetalia's Belarus. People always portray Romano as super vulgar, but everyone forgets that Belarus is almost just as vulgar as he is. Just replace the word bastard with dick or penis, and that's Belarus. People always forget this, and it's a pretty big part of her character too. Overall, she's just very rude and ill-tempered, and anything just sets her off, which brings me to the next point. Number 3, bad temper. Belarus is a violent person that doesn't like it when she doesn't get her way. Gee, I wonder where she got it from. She has quite a temper. Anything is enough to get her to blow a fuse and get angry. It mostly involves anyone being within the vicinity of her brother, but she's known to threaten pretty much anyone over other things as well. The amount of male genitalia that she has threatened to cut off in this series is kind of surprising. Well, the fact that she said it more than once is surprising. Actually, she talks a lot about dicks. A lot of some of the violent things she has done includes smashing a local shop when rejected by Russia, hurting Lithuania since they were kids, threatening people with knives, breaking Lithuania's fingers on a date and going as far as to follow him home to continue breaking them, and throwing things at people she dislikes and yelling at them. Oh yeah, and don't you dare disagree with Russia, she'll come after you. And sadly, it's not just strangers whom she treats this way. 4. Toxic sister. Belarus has her moments where she and her sister get along, but there are moments that are absolutely toxic. Like the time she threatened to shove her sister into an oven, and the numerous times she has yelled at her, scared her, made her cry, insisted that she was crazy. And poor Ukraine just puts up with this needless drama over her sister's jealousy over a bond that doesn't even exist. But Ukraine isn't the sibling who is most negatively impacted by her behavior. The things she has done to Ukraine is nothing compared to what she has done to Russia. But first, speed round. She's kind of a pervert. Believes humans cause nothing but misfortune and suffering. Is labeled unsafe by Japan's Foreign Ministry of Affairs. Actually likes and has made a fan site for her boss, who, if you don't know anything about Alexander Lukashenko, is an oppressive homophobic asshole. Not to get too political, but I think we can agree that things like this are bad. Unironically enjoys Soviet propaganda. Believes as long as people have food, they'll be okay. And silent calls people just to spite them. Number 6, Stalker. Of course, we're roasting her on the obvious Belarus lusting after her brother thing because, while it might not be everything about her character, it is still a pretty big part of her character. And it reflects real-life events too. Or it did, but that involves politics that I shouldn't get into right now. Things have changed a little bit, but anyways, many people try to focus on other parts of her character and ignore this part completely, but you shouldn't forget, she is a stalker! And for the people that do recognize this, they think, oh lol, it's such a funny running gag, haha, but I don't think you really know just how bad it is. She has done things such as making a fan site for Russia, stealing all of his underwear, smelling his underwear, wearing his underwear on her head while she sleeps, and taking suggestive or possibly naked photos of him. In her diary, she also writes that she has a desire to be his underwear, as well as his toothbrush, and to do the sex acts with him. While there are other parts to her character, being Russia's stalker is a pretty big part that, while it shouldn't be overplayed, it shouldn't be forgotten about either. I can't imagine what this poor man has been through. Having his personal belongings stolen, having his privacy violated by having indecent photos taken of him without his consent, knowing that if he says no, she'll flip out and make things awful for him, not being able to go out or have a somewhat normal life with her, and having absolutely no dating life. She is still obsessed with her brother to a very unhealthy degree, to a point where it negatively impacts his life. Look at how upset and uncomfortable Russia is. On the one hand, she's his closest ally and a friend in need, but on the other hand, she has a incredibly unhealthy obsession with him. And not to mention, all of this is incest! And before you're like, well, maybe they aren't blood related, well, guess what? These three are some of the only characters confirmed to be blood related. And even if they weren't blood related,
They clearly grew up together and still refer to each other as brother and sister. She legit calls him Oni-san. That is super no-no. She knows what she's doing. She knows better. This isn't like a little 5-year-old saying, when I grow up, I want to marry my daddy, you know, that kind of stuff. No, she is physically 19 years old and is fantasizing about having sex with her brother. After all the family drama that she causes, it's no surprise that Russia has such a hard time dealing with her, and why he gets depressed every time he talks about her. So in conclusion, Belarus's obsession with Russia and the Soviet Union has kind of made her into a not-so-great person. But most of her issues have to do with her obsession with Russia, who isn't really the greatest role model. And she and her sister do occasionally have calm, happy moments together. Outside of her, being a stalker, she is a rather interesting character, but incest aside, there is a very good reason Russia does not want to marry this woman. And that was 1 mark higher on your history test. Thank you for watching Hetafacts.